Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Thursday's edition of the Morning Brief for March the 10th. Take a look around the region. Got a lot going on today. Luckily, no updates from the Rio Grande Valley sector of the unaccompanied alien children. Yesterday, we did receive a denial for the disaster declaration request from New Mexico. The current NTAS, the National Terrorism Advisory System notice, the bulletin is still in effect until June 16th. No SEER events to report on, no current PDAs to report on, and no new FMAGs. But now we'll take a look around the region. Again, a very colorful map. We will go over that, and I'll turn the weather on in just a minute. I turn it over to Brian. But first, I'd like to report that Texas SEOC has returned to level 4 normal operations last night at close of business. However, Louisiana has elevated their activation to a full level 3 24-hour operations, and we do have a liaison officer deploying to the SEOC today. No changes or updates to the IMATs. The shelters, we have lots of shelters. You can see these little blue crosses across Texas and Louisiana. So in Texas, we have 8 shelters with a population of 10. Louisiana has 6 open shelters with a population of 308. In Arkansas, we've received reports of open shelters that have yet to be reported in the National Shelter System with the Red Cross. So they may be community shelters with an estimated population of about 45. For power outages, Arkansas is down to about 1,350. That's down from a peak of 4,100 the last 24 hours. Louisiana is 1,600, down from about 20,000. New Mexico is reporting 0 through Eagle Eye. Oklahoma is down to 56 from about 9,500. And Texas is down to about 3,800 from a peak of 31,000 in the last 24 hours. Again, we have no PDAs going on. And if I mentioned the shelter in Arkansas, in Chillicothe County, in southeast Arkansas, the city of Dermott, they're reporting several secondary roadways and state highways are closed. And there's a shelter that is opened, but it's not yet reported in NSS. So it may be a community or local shelter, and it's down here in the southeast quadrant of the state of Arkansas. And again, in the city of Shreveport, Bossier City in Louisiana, in the northwest portion, they have about 3,000 evacuation, mostly as a precautionary effort due to the increased floodwater. But now we'll turn it over to Brian in the National Weather Service to get an update on his busy day.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Yes, very busy across Louisiana, Arkansas, and into East Texas. Continuing, you can see the radar there, still raining over these areas, and we have a myriad of flash flood watches, and all the reds that were on there are widespread flash flood warnings. So still just a very dicey situation for East Texas into Louisiana and southern Arkansas right now. The system is going to very slowly translate to the east today, and we'll start to see an increase in flooding potential move into southeast Louisiana by late today, and that does include the Baton Rouge and New Orleans areas. So just going to see a continued threat for heavy rain and flooding as the system moves off to the east today. Taking a look at the slide, you'll see that flooding is still going to be the main story for the next 5 days, particularly over the next 2 days as the system slowly translates out of the region. We'll see the system get out of the region probably by early Saturday, where you can see there's some lingering flooding concerns over southern Louisiana by Saturday. And then Sunday we have a very quick moving system that's going to move into Arkansas and northern Louisiana. And obviously we're very saturated over those areas right now. So even though the rainfall amounts that are forecast for Sunday are going to be very light compared to what we've seen the past few days, it's not going to take a whole lot to exacerbate the situation over there. As far as severe weather is concerned, the good news is we're essentially just looking at isolated severe storms, and that'll be for damaging winds and perhaps a tornado or two for Louisiana, southern Arkansas, and into east and southeast Texas for today, and then the severe weather threat goes away after today. River flooding is going to be a major concern for East Texas and western Louisiana. We have some areas that are forecast to be the flood of record, so we're closely monitoring that for any potential impacts. The biggest area right now of concern is the Sabine River, which is the river that is essentially the border between Texas and Louisiana, and the Toledo Bend Reservoir is having record releases right now, and so areas downstream are expected to have record flooding basically along the Texas-Louisiana border from East Texas and into southwest Louisiana. Now go ahead to the slide. There you go. You can see where the slight risk of, actually it's a marginal risk of severe storms for today for Texas and into Louisiana, but the bigger threat is the ongoing heavy rain that's going to occur over Louisiana, East Texas, Arkansas, and then you can see by tomorrow and into Saturday, the system slowly translates to the east. We're still going to be concerned with heavy rain, and really not going to take very much rain at all to continue that flooding threat for the next 3 days. By the time we get into this weekend, we'll also see an elevated, possibly some areas of critical fire weather out west in New Mexico and into West Texas. And then you can see in the lower slide there, there's that secondary system that comes through very quickly on Sunday and has much lighter rainfall amounts. But as I mentioned, it's not going to take a whole lot to exacerbate the situation over there. So the precipitation forecast, you can see a good portion of the rainfall that is forecast for the next 5 days is going to occur over the next 24 hours over Louisiana and Arkansas. But then you see there is an even greater amounts being forecast in the 5 day there over southeast Louisiana, and that's going to be primarily late today and into tomorrow. So the system's going to slowly translate, like I said, and the flooding threat will include basically much of the entire state of Louisiana and into southern Arkansas. River flooding, as I mentioned, is going to be a concern. You can see that area where Texas and Louisiana come together there, East Texas, southwest Louisiana. We've got major flooding either ongoing or forecast to occur over the next few days, so we're closely monitoring that for impacts. The drought monitor was updated today. You can see most of the drought has been alleviated. It's important to note that the data that goes into this is cut off at Tuesday morning. So a lot of the rainfall that we've seen over the past 48 hours is not included in this. And so you'll see even further improvement with next week's drought monitor. Space weather is quiet. That's about the only good news to report today, with no impacts to the region. And that's all I've got, unless there's any questions.
Thank you, Brian. Anyone has questions for Brian, the National Weather Service? Type in the chat window or speak up if you're on the phone. Let's have a fun, busy day today. All right. If your question is you can't get inside during a thunderstorm, what should you do? Read it carefully. Survey says, run towards a substantial building or vehicle with a metal top and sides. Kind of a tricky one there. And in keeping with every day is some kind of day, today is National Pack Your Lunch Day. Guess I should have told you that yesterday. But anywho, last chance for any questions. We've got the update from Frederick. Louisiana shelter population is 349. That includes the 41 in the medical shelter they've opened. So, hearing no questions, seeing no questions, this concludes today's briefing. Have a great day. Good luck.